everybody? It is Joe Jackman here with Joint Perspectives. Now, I'm sure you guys are kind of wondering, like, why didn't I introduce myself as Joey Joint? Well, Joey Joint has died. He is no longer a part of me. And this is something huge for me because, like, sorry, my dog's kennels are right here and I accidentally hit the door. This is something I've realized, and so if you guys don't know, I went on this, I went on this amazing experience, right? And it was to this place in San Diego, Point Place Resort in San Diego. And I'm a part of this group called Self Perfected. And Self Perfected is about being the best possible version of yourself that you can be. Well, they held the very first event where people all across the world came there. And like, when I say all across the world, like I met people from the Netherlands, I met people from Guam, I met people from Canada, I met people there from Africa, I met people there from all over. And like, it was crazy to see like how a movement of what everybody is seeing was able to bring together people all across the world to be able to help change the world is what we want to do, right? And so I had a couple breakthroughs when I was there. And like one of the biggest breakthroughs was Austin Hale kind of helped me realize like why I was using the name Joey Joint, you know? And like I built this character that I created to pretty much like hide who I was, because in a way I've been ashamed of who I am, right? And it's true, it is. The things I went through in my life, it didn't make me want to be me, and that was a big thing, because being me is what I've learned is wonderful. And I had a lot of different people tell me they were very inspired by when they talked with me, and like that was very inspiring for me, because I've always felt like I could touch people, but like I was never able to. So anyways, I went to this place and it helped me become a better version of me 100%. So I will no longer be going by Joey Joint. I'm going to be going by Joe Jackman, because that is who I am, and I am proud to be this person that I am. Bailey, go on. Go on. Anyways, sorry, my wife's trying to give the dogs a bath. So anyways, it helped me realize that like, I didn't want to hide behind this persona no more. For all of you who know me, and for the people who don't know me, okay, I have recently quit smoking pot, which is amazing, because if you know me, you understand the big attachment I had to pot. I grew up with like everyone in my family did it, and like it was just like it was our family, it's who we were, and the crazy thing for me is one of the biggest things I picked up, another big thing that I picked up from this was like I don't need that to be who I am. And like for the longest time, so I was diagnosed with schizophrenia at about 8 years old. And for the longest time in my life, like I used to think that I needed it to be here, because I always felt like when I wasn't here, I needed it to bring me back to reality, right? Well, I have been sober now for a full 7 days. And I know that doesn't seem like a lot, but I have been smoking since I was 12 years old. I'm 24. That is half of my life. I have been consistently, I wake up, I smoke. I would get out of work, I smoke. I'd go to work, I smoke. On my lunch break, I'd smoke. Excuse me. And like normally a lot of people, when they, give up something, they create an addiction towards it, and the aspect of like, I need this, right? I have not felt like I needed it this whole time. I have not had an urge. I have not had oh my God, I just, why can't I go smoke? And like, once again, Austin Hale actually helped me realize, like, I was holding on to this fact of like, I will never get to smoke again. And like, at this point, I have now realized that that's okay. And I'm perfectly okay with that. Because the way I've been feeling, like, words can describe how I'm feeling, which is great, but it doesn't do it justice, just like how this event was. I can describe the event all I want, but it does not do it justice because of how amazing it was, with some of the conversations that I had with people, with some of the breakthroughs that I had. I mean, I told a story that I haven't told to people in years that has happened to me. Only certain people in my life knew about this story. And like, they were able to help me get through it, right? And I'll share that story with you guys one day. I have a lot of things I want to kind of talk about, and I don't want to get into that. It's kind of a longer story. But like, I have never felt this amazing before in my life, and I literally cannot thank this event more than just doing like as they told me, by spreading the word of that you don't need these drugs and these alcohol to define who you are. Society made us think that that's what we needed, or we needed something to define us, and like, we don't. Like, you can define yourself as a person just fine, and there's people out there that do it. There's plenty of people that go through this world just sober, and like, it is amazing. But one thing that they go through while being sober in that way is they go through a lot of aggression and a lot of different problems, frustration, and it causes more of like, they search for other things, right? But I realized in this, like, you don't need these other things to empower yourself. What you really need is a supporting community that can actually help you empower who you actually are from the inside out. Not just, here, do this, here, do these drugs, and you're gonna, like, feel amazing, right? And it's like, it's crazy because, like, I've been doing drugs since I was about 12 years old. I've been selling drugs since I was about 10. And like, I got into it because like, that was what my family taught me. Like, that's who we were. That's what we were about, And it took me all this time to finally realize, like, I don't need that to be a part of my family, I don't need that to be a part of a family. And like, that's what this group is. It's a family. It honestly is. It's 100% a family. It's not a group. It's not a cult, as people have said. Everybody, like, before I left, kept telling me like, Joe, don't drink the Kool-Aid, And if you know what a cult, like what cults do, a lot of them would get together, and a lot of cults would sacrifice themselves for the greater good of the cult. And they'd put poison in like these Kool-Aids and like the fruit punch or whatever they were drinking, and everybody would partake at once and then just drop dead. And like, everybody, like, I had friends kept telling me like, like, don't drink the Kool-Aid, don't drink the Kool-Aid, like, you don't know what's in it, right? And like, I told everybody, this group gave me Kool-Aid that I will never stop drinking. And I use Kool-Aid as a metaphor, right? They gave me tools that I will never stop using because of the drastic change it has made in me as a person. It's made in my family, with the relationships I've built with my wife and now my son even more. Like, it helped me realize that, like, us as people, we abuse. If you've been abused in your life, which everybody has a story, right? And once again, Austin kind of helped me realize this, like, everybody has a story, right? And we go through life trying to compare our stories to everybody. Like, well, your story's not as bad as mine because I went through this. And that story's not as bad as mine because I went through this. And it's like, it's not about that. Everybody has a story, right? And everybody at that time of their life, their story, whatever they were going through, was the hardest thing they had to go through in life. And we need to be able to support each other on that aspect of, like, everybody has a story, and we need to support one another, because in this world we are trained to believe that we're trained to believe that we're alone. And we're not alone in this world. There's a lot of people out there like you and me and your mom and your dad and people that you don't even know. Like these people that I met, this was the first time I met them, and they supported me and welcomed me with open arms, right? For all of you that know me, everybody knows I am a very, very outgoing person. I have always been that person to, like my mom have always said, you put me in a room full of 100 people, give me an hour, I will make friends with all of them. Well, that was a lie. I got put in a room full of 150 people, and I froze completely. I solid, just, I would go up to people and try to talk and be like, hey, you know, how do you get part of the group? And they would tell me, and then I'd be like, oh, okay. And then I'd walk away. And I'd actually run away and I'd call my wife and I would tell her, like, hey, I'm having a panic attack and I don't know what to do. And like, people who know my wife knows that she's a little bit more having conversations with people is not her greatest thing, right? And she used to tell me that, like, I just don't know what to say to people. And like, it never made sense to me because I was like, you just go up and start talking to them, just asking questions. Like, you just can't come up with a question. Like, you know, what's going on here? And like, as a husband, that was very wrong of me. I now realize that, because like, it wasn't supporting her to overcome and face that fear. It was more putting more doubt in her head. Like, why can't you just do it? And like, that made me a shitty husband because I wasn't supporting my wife the way I should be. But that's why I think that I had to go through what I went through Friday night of the event. And that whole night, I kept trying to talk to people and I kept running away because I had to call my wife because I was having a panic attack. So the next morning I woke up and I was like, I'm not here to live in fear. I have to go at this event to the fullest extent that I can, because that is what I came here for. Unfortunately, my wife and my son couldn't come with me because financially we couldn't afford it. But my wife supported me in the way of saying, hey, one of us needs to go to this event so that we can bring back the information and develop together with that information. And so like, Saturday I woke up, right? And we're in the middle of a seminar where the gentleman at the front, his name was Avery, was talking. And he goes, I need a volunteer of someone who has a fear of speaking in front of people. Well, I've had nothing but a fear of speaking in front of people this whole time. I was like, I gotta do this. So I stood straight up. I was like my instincts just went in like, I'm up, I gotta do this, right? And I went up there and I started talking with people. Well, I went up there and I just introduced myself and made a couple little jokes, right? And I had a bunch of people come up to me and state like, Joe, that was amazing. Like, you were awesome up there. Like, that's amazing. And like, it helped me a lot. And it encouraged me a lot more. So that night we had what was called the red carpet event. And we all got dressed up, right? We all got like top tier dressed up, ties, tuxes, fancy dresses, these like gowns, and like these women showed up in these amazing dresses, like, and like these men, like, man, JJ Finessa, that guy showed up. I loved his tux, his hat, his fedora. He just straight killed it. And like it was just amazing, right? And it was amazing to be around a group of people that was supporting each other to do great things in life that we were all destined to do. And Mitch, the guy who brought me to the event, he stated to everybody, like, if anybody wants to give a toast, you know, just let me know. You can come up and do it. Now, the whole time I'm eating dinner, we're all sitting there eating dinner as people are talking different things. And like, in my head, I'm like, I gotta do this. I gotta stand up and give a toast, because what I'm feeling here in this environment and everything, I will never, ever go back to not wanting this again, right? And so I went up to Mitch and I was like, hey, Mitch, I was like, if there's time, like I have a toast that I want to give. And I'll be posting it. There was actually a gentleman who caught it on tape. Thank the Lord he did, because like that's something too that like I was able to show my wife. I was able to show my mom. My mom sent it to my grandma. They were able to see it too. And like it was an amazing thing. It was an amazing step in my journey that I needed to take. And he was able to capture it on film, which I'll post that on Facebook. Follow me on Facebook. Jackman Joe is one of them, and Joe Jackman is the other one. Don't be afraid to follow them both. But I went up there and I talked about how I was like trying to like sell this event to people that were in San Diego that weren't even there. That day I took a Lyft to go to the beach because I love the beach, right? And I took a Lyft to go to the beach, and I went to the beach, and on my way back, the Lyft driver on the way back, he's like, well, what are you in here for? And I was like, well, it's kind of like a business event, kind of just something more like to help me expand my mind and the way I think and stuff. And he was like, oh, that's awesome. Like, what's it about? And I started talking. I was like, well, do you have a daughter? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, well, there's this thing called Techno Tutor. And it's like, it's this amazing thing that helps you refigure the way you think, retrain the neural pathways that you developed from a child. And it helps you just expand further, right? And I'm like, so do you have a daughter? He's like, yeah, she's 8 years old. And I'm like, dude, you gotta get this. You have to get this. Now, mind you, the craziest thing is that I don't even have this yet. I am still working on getting a computer and the money that I need to get everything I need in line in order to get this stuff. But like, I met so many great people that use it. And like, it was amazing. And like, they gave me this empowerment through just talking with them about it of like, dude, everybody needs to know about this. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you've been through. Like, everybody needs to know about this. And like, if you don't know about this, I got to make sure I tell you. Otherwise, like, I'm just as much as an asshole as the other guy who's keeping these secrets from you that doesn't want you to know them. And I'm like, I refuse to be that guy. So I start trying to like, and I'm a salesman, so I go into sales pitch. Like, man, you gotta get this. You have to, it's like the greatest thing since sliced bread, man. Like, you have to do it, man. If you want betterness for your family, this is what's gonna bring you to that. And you just gotta do it, man. Like, and this guy doesn't even know me. He's just my Lyft driver. He's like a 10-minute drive for me to get back to the hotel. And it's like, man, this guy's like preaching to me, right? And like, it was crazy because like I stood up and that was my toast to these guys. I was explaining them to this on how like, even me not having it yet, I felt the energy through the people that had it. And that was something that like words can't describe. It was a straight feeling that you felt. And so I get up there and like I do that, and like, man, everybody gave me like they gave me a standing ovation, like clapping. And it's like, as I'm walking down, like Mitch grabs me and turns me around and he's like, look at what you just did. And like, everybody's just standing up and clapping for me. And I was just like, it touched me. It touched me so much that after that happened, like I walked down to my chair, to my seat where we were all eating, like people are like shaking my hand, hugging me, like, come here, man, that was amazing, that was awesome. And like, it was an experience that I'll never forget because it changed my life tenfold. And if you know me, or if you knew who I was and you know me now, you see the development I've made. And like, I will never trade anything for this change that I have made ever in my life. I used to feel like I was just going through the motions of life and just like trying to just get to the end. Well, I've realized, what's at the end of life? It's death. Why am I running to try to get to death? I should be living 110% every single day of my life. Why am I not doing that? And if I'm not doing it for myself, why am I not doing it for my wife who's a stay-at-home mom? Why am I not doing it for my kid who's being homeschooled? Why am I not doing it for the people in my life that deserve it? Whether I felt like I deserved it or not, I needed to realize that there's a bigger picture than just me. And that is something I've taken from this event that I will never, ever take back. And I will continue to put it out into the world so that they can understand. And it's funny because like everybody at my job now, they all keep telling me like, Joe, I think you drank a little too much of that Kool-Aid. Joe, I think you need to lay off the Kool-Aid. And I'm like, man, you need to get on the Kool-Aid. Like it's crazy. And I have never felt this way in my life. Like ever. No matter all the drugs I did, all the highs I felt, all the relationships I've been in, all the trauma I've been through, I have never felt this amazing in my life. And like, I refuse to not let people feel the joy that I am feeling. So the best way for me to do that is by sharing it. And upon the event, I had a lot of people come up to me, and I had this gentleman named Dylan. He came up to me, one of the very first people, and he's like, dude, what you did up there was amazing, and you inspired me 100% to want to face my fears in what I am doing. And like, then I had another gentleman come up to me, and he's like, dude, you have a gift. Like, what you have, you cannot teach, he told me. He's like, you need to make sure you are speaking always, because people need to hear your voice. And I was like, damn. I went out onto the porch. Mind you, we were at this resort, and it was a beautiful place, right? And I'm just staring at the ocean. And like, I just started crying. And not sad cry. I was happy crying, because like, I was looking at myself, and like, I never thought that I would make it like this around these kind of people in my life. I used to be told that I was going to be dead by the age of 20, 21 years old, that I wasn't going to see, what I was going to be, because that was the life that I was choosing. And like, I will never, ever, ever forget that moment on the porch when John and everybody that was there was like 5 guys on the porch, pulled me over to support me and help me. And once again, I told them the story that, once again, I'm not going to go into, because I'm already like 22 minutes in, and this was just supposed to be a short 15, 20-minute podcast, right? But like, and this isn't even like touching like the tip of the iceberg of the way this place helped me. These are just like the main key points that I can help people like see, right? And like, they came over and they helped me work through forgiving myself on what happened to me. Sorry. It brings a lot of emotion to me, because it was such a powerful moment, and like, I still feel it, and I will never, never go back to that person that I was. So if you are tired of going through life in the motions, if you are tired of the places that you have been, if you are looking for a community that is trying to support you, please reach out. And even if you don't know me, I don't care whether we're just friends on Facebook, you've never met me, whatever it is, just reach out, and I will point you in the direction of our group. Our group is on Facebook called Self Perfected, and it'd be more than willing to have any one of you with open arms. And even if you want to just talk to me and just kind of get a little bit of my energy, and just seeing, like, just putting your foot in the water to see, right? Message me. Reach out, because this is a feeling that everybody should feel. This is a community that everybody should be a part of. This is a system that they are creating to break the system that we were brought up in. And we need to understand that, not just for us, but for our kids, for our kids' kids, for our kids' kids, for our great-great-grandkids. Because even though I may not see the change in my life, we need to plant the seed to make the change in this world. So, I highly recommend any of you guys to just, if you have something in life that you're afraid of, that you're being fearful of, run at it tenfold. Do not run away, because that fear could change your life. fear is one of two things. It can either be your greatest motivator or your greatest immobilizer. Because when you get fear, you just freeze. Run at it. That is your body. That is the energy around you telling you it is time for you to take the next step in your life. So I recommend to anybody who is feeling these ways, these emotions, reach out. Look fear in the face and run tenfold at it. Live 110%. Go all out. Do not stop. I'll leave you guys with that. This is Joe Jackman. Don't ever forget the name. If you ever can't remember my name, just remember I am not your average Joe. And if you ever want to remember my last name, just think of Hugh Jackman, except I'm better than Hugh Jackman. You guys have a great day. This is Joe Jackman with Joint Perspectives, man. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, share this video, share it to your friends, share it to your mama, share it to your buddies. I don't care who it is, but pass the word around. Send the message to everybody because you deserve to know. Your mama deserves to know. Your grandma deserves to know. Your kids deserve to see better. You got this, man. Every one of you. You guys got this. Have a great night.